Thanks to AeroPress for sponsoring this video. Stick around and I'll get you an exclusive 15% discount off their coffee makers. I know I'm a bit late to the game, but I finally have the Apple Vision Pro and I'm so excited to be dissecting this thing inside out. Just so you know, I bought this 3500 headset myself and had it shipped to me, so that's why it took a bit longer. Now, I've only had it a few days, so today I'm sharing my first impressions split into 10 things I love and hate about the Apple Vision Pro so far. I am currently working on my full review at the same time, but I know there's a lot of videos out already, but having been a VR enthusiast and reviewing headsets for over 7 years, I felt obligated to explore it thoroughly, and I hope my perspective can still provide you value. So let me know if you have anything you want me to test in the comments below and I'll keep it in mind for this video. But do so after watching this one, of course. Join me beyond reality. Right off the bat, the first thing I hate, well, hate is a strong word. These hates are more like my dislikes, the cons, and the first is Apple never acknowledging VR with this device. Apple calls it spatial computing, but at its core, it is a VR headset. Wearing it, you can surround yourself entirely in a virtual environment, plus you can even play Steam VR games on it now. It is a standalone VR headset too that can do mixed reality by turning this crown to enable the pass-through, so you can see your real environment through the front-facing cameras. So maybe it's a mixed reality headset at best. Apple's insistence on calling this spatial computing feels a bit like wordplay, and I don't like it because this just adds more confusion in the XR industry. On the flip side, the first thing to love about the Vision Pro is undoubtedly what lies under its sleek exterior. It has hardware inside, so it can run things without external devices needed, and it's arguably the most powerful standalone headset to date. But I guess you also pay for that a lot. The Vision Pro runs on 2 chips, the Apple M2 chip, the same one found in the newest MacBook Air, and a new custom chip, the R1. The M2 chip has a 10-core GPU, which is allegedly at least 50% more powerful than the GPU in the Snapdragon XR2 Plus Gen 2 chip, which is a newer premium version of the XR2 Gen 2 chip that's powering the Quest 3. What's really special is how the Vision Pro uses eye tracking to only render parts you're directly looking at high resolution. This technique, called foveated rendering, opens up resources for developers to create VR experiences that look better, that should rival those on the Quest 3 and possibly nearing PC quality, which would be crazy in a standalone headset. I haven't been able to try a lot of different apps yet, but so far the Vision OS performance is impressive. I have ran 6 to 8 apps at the same time without problems, although when I do try to do a bit too much, crashes could happen, but I most likely won't be needing so many different apps running at the same time anyway. So far, it feels like I've been setuping a new PC, which is really awesome. The R1 chip handles inputs from its many cameras, sensors, and mics, but at bandwidths that allows it to display images in just 12 milliseconds for, and I quote Apple here, a virtually lag-free real-time view of the world. I'll talk about my pass-through impressions in a bit, but right now the display quality really wowed me. The 3D environments included on the Vision Pro, like the dinosaur encounter, are crazy beautiful. The OLED micro displays do full VR experiences justice, and the text readability is crystal clear, the sharpest I've seen so far. I'm going to need to spend a lot more time with the Vision Pro to form final conclusions, but my first impressions of the hardware do not disappoint. Interestingly, I came across a Reddit post where a developer highlighted how this powerful combination of the M2, the R1 for tracking, and ample memory lets them build much better. The post said, and I quote, "Give us 4 to 6 months and you are going to see some amazing things for this device." So yes, it's an overpriced piece of kit for sure, but the ripple effect it could have on VR development and the industry at large could be priceless. That brings us to the mixed reality experience, the pass-through quality. That's the first thing I saw when I put on this headset. You will see your real environment through the front-facing cameras. And here, the R1 chip doesn't disappoint in terms of lag. The pass-through latency is indeed low enough so I can easily do whatever I usually do while wearing the headset, pass a ball, grab a drink, or even some cleaning. Does it feel faster than Quest 3? Well, yes, but I do need to put them side by side first. However, I found a few things I didn't like. While the visual quality is better than the Quest 3, the improvement isn't huge. The camera quality is still a bit grainy, colors and brightness are just okay, and there's still some distortion and motion blur. I'll need to test this more, maybe in different lights, but for this price I did expect better. But you know what doesn't lag? Coffee. You may not know that I love coffee. For me, it's not just about the caffeine, it's about taking a small moment daily to savor life, one sip at a time. So when AeroPress introduced me to their patented 3-in-1 brew tech, I was super intrigued. It combines the best of several brew methods into one very portable device for a completely unique and delicious flavor profile. Smooth, rich, and full-bodied without the bitterness and grit found in traditional presses. With over 55k 5-star reviews in over 60 countries, AeroPress is the best reviewed coffee press on the planet. I now craft the tastiest coffee, but the best part is that it's portable and affordable, starting at $40 and with my code you get an extra 15% off. Click the link below to check it out. Now, as you may know or notice, that the headset does not come with controllers as we are used to. Instead, for interaction and input, it uses eye tracking combined with hand tracking and finger pinches. So I can look at something and pinch to select it, which by the way works incredibly well, although held back a little due to eye tracking lag. I misclick at times because my eyes often wants to move away before my pinching has been registered. Maybe I just need to get used to it first. However, I was surprised that you can see your own hands in VR and not a 3D representation of it like on Quest, which is surprisingly phenomenal. The AVP even blends the video of your real arm into the scene, so you're actually seeing your full arm and shoulders. Then there is occlusion, meaning if you move your hands in front of a screen, you see it appear in front too or back, and then it will disappear. This really ups the immersion when you're fully in VR or even in mixed reality. However, I did notice that the hand tracking does have its quirks. The accuracy is fantastic, but the hand tracking latency feels higher than on Quest 3. You can see the delay of the outline around your hands, plus there's lighting inconsistencies and occasional glitches, which will remind you it's not perfect and can break the immersion spell. With just eye and hand tracking as the controllers, you are limited to certain interactions, so I wish they also supported controllers. I just don't like not having the option. That brings us to the next thing I instantly enjoyed in the Apple Vision Pro. Its attention to small things in the user experience. Having been part of the Apple ecosystem before, developing on a MacBook and using an iPhone, I've since moved to Android. Don't get me wrong, I love Android's openness, however, this switch made me miss Apple's knack for detail in interaction design, things you don't realize you need until you experience them. Beyond the hand and arm tracking, there are numerous subtle touches that enhance the overall experience. Like you often use the headset to display multiple apps and screens which stay perfectly in place wherever you set them. Impressively, if you position a screen in one room and move to another, it remains exactly where you left it. This feature even holds up if you move from one floor to another. Then the audio also adapts based on your location. For instance, if music is playing from a screen upstairs and you're below it, you'll hear it right above you, which enhances the realism. Another neat detail is how the Vision Pro casts virtual shadows and ambient lighting on your real surroundings, and when viewing a 3D model, it adjusts light and reflections to match both your actual and the virtual environments, creating a stunningly realistic effect. I graduated as a user experience designer, so I love these small details and I could talk about them endlessly, but I'll keep this video short. So if you're interested in a deep dive, let me know with a comment and leave me a like while you're at it. The feature rounding off my list of pros is the personas. I have 2 more cons after this. So these personas are digital twins created with just a single Face ID scan. You'll be asked to create one during the initial setup process, and you do this by using the headset's front cameras to scan your face. It takes a few minutes, but if you're lucky, they strikingly resemble the real you, but just towing the line of uncanny valley. It took me a few tries to get it looking more like me, like it captured my face really well, but my hair was difficult to get right. It does seem like it does better with short hair, but it's still in beta and definitely not perfect. What impressed me is the level of detail they could capture out of a single scan. There was a lot of backlash about what the personas looked like on social media, but I feel like people outside of our community might not understand that achieving this fidelity in real time on a wearable device is no small feat. The system cleverly reads your facial expressions by just tracking your eyes and mouth to capture every smile, frown or smirk in detail. Like with just that data, it can even mimic your micro expressions and even mimic tongue movements like its curl, though it uses a generic model for that tongue, which I must admit is a little bit weird seeing a different tongue as mine. But even here, there are a lot of nice small touches. Now, if I'm wearing the headset and someone is in the same room with me, they can see my eyes through the front glass, and if I'm in VR, I can see their image fade in through the environment. It might seem weird or look weird through this video, but Chary, my partner, said it was actually very nice because it feels less like talking to ski goggles. Now, to make sure your persona is safe and sound, Apple made sure no one else can pretend to be you. The Vision Pro uses something called Optic ID. It's a security step that means only you can use your persona. You can't even get in with a PIN code if it's not yours, which is really great, but that also brings me to something I dislike. Sharing the Vision Pro can be a bit of a hassle. It's not as simple as passing the headset to a friend for a quick try. Each new user needs around 5 minutes to calibrate their eyes and hands, which is essential for navigating the interface and ensuring an optimal view. So handing the headset to someone else without recalibrating can lead to a subpar experience. There is a guest account you can use that has people go through the calibration process, but this doesn't save anything. So what I hate is that there is no option to have a separate Apple ID account with a separate persona and settings. I mean, it's an expensive headset, so it's less likely people will get two. So it would be really nice if I could share it with my partner. I was sad not being able to make another persona just for her without deleting mine. So I hope they'll make this easier, as it's really hard to explain a headset like this without actually showing its features to others. My final gripe is with the headset's weight and comfort. It's heavy on the front because all the tech is packed there with no counterweight at the back to even things out. This makes it lean forward more than I'd like to. It's actually not too bad. I've had worse, and switching to the dual loop band and changing sitting positions at times does help. Like, I had a successful 4 to 6 hour session. However, I do struggle a lot with the front heaviness, so I'm definitely going to look for comfort mods. But this isn't a new problem. VR headsets, especially the ones that work all by themselves, often struggle with this issue. As someone who uses VR almost daily, I'm always searching for ways to enhance comfort, and usually finding a fix isn't too hard. Although I haven't found the perfect solution for the Vision Pro yet, I have noticed some people swapping in head straps from the Quest 3. So I am keen to try that out, and I will share my findings later. But of course, at $3,500, the Vision Pro's price is steep, especially against headsets nearly 10 times cheaper, leading me to question its value despite an initially impressive experience. My pros are also often mixed with some cons, likely due to Apple's ambitious marketing raising expectations too high. I do have to give it to them that it's tricky to portray the immersive world in a flat video trailer, which could have been why it led to some inflated expectations. Still, the device might justify its cost for certain users, or Apple could change my view with more use over time. So I plan to test the Vision Pro intensively for about 2 more weeks after posting this video, and will share my full review then. I'm especially curious if I'll keep using this long term or if I will grow bored of it, which means I could sell it to buy back my kidney. Stay tuned. Now, I would love to hear your thoughts or questions about the Vision Pro for my review, so drop them below, subscribe for more XR updates, and thank you so much for your support by watching. Much love, Cass.